From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Tuesday, June 25th, 2019, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and here with me in our Orlando studios. He showed up today on the ones and twos, our illustrious engineer, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
Joining us in Gatorland, Florida, Eddie Big Cat Koffoltz.
Chandler, welcome back. We missed you, Eddie.
Thanks.
And all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, author, speaker, podcaster, cowgirl extraordinaire, Annie F. Downs.
Good morning, gents.
The whole family's back. I'm very excited.
Look at this. Look at this.
We have a great show in store for you today, but I got to warn you, listeners, that 3 out of 4 of us are not quite on our A game this morning.
Luckily, AFD is coming in our A game.
That's right. That's right.
Well, should we just go around the horn? I'm going to be honest. I hung out with some of my dad buddies last night, and it was like fun. So here I am.
You've made it in. Yeah.
I decided to Sabbath hard Sunday afternoon and went out and floated in the pool. Quite a lovely day, not a cloud in the sky. And then 3 hours later, woke up in pain. And you know what? You wake up the next morning, you feel a little nauseous, like kind of sun poisoning. I've heard about this. I've never experienced it before.
So, like, are you burned? Like, is your body very red?
I mean, I'm Florida burned in the sense that, like, I'm outside every weekend, so I'm not, like, vulnerable to that, which is why it's so odd. Like, I'm in pain. Like, I walked into the office this morning dragging, and everybody's like, "Ooh, you got sun." You know, so it's that kind of a burn.
Yeah, it's
sure.
I don't know if you guys remember. This is a very obscure reference, but listen, I got a case of the Mondays too. But the episode of Perfect Strangers where Larry and Balky prepare for their high school reunion by going tanning because they want to look really good, and they both fall asleep in separate tanning beds.
I do remember this.
And people, like, they're walking in like, you know, stiff arms like mannequins because every time the fabric touches their skin it hurts. But the running gag is everyone runs up to them and gives them big hugs and slaps them on the back because they haven't seen them in years. It's a perfect gag. My ailment, and Cameron and I discussed this with old sitcom tropes, is like, I tend to, from time to time, get these really bad migraine headaches, and it makes me foggy and not be able to speak super clearly. And this one has lasted for days. The fog is starting to clear, but Cameron and I were having a discussion on Friday where it's basically like one of those episodes of Gilligan's Island, or really any sitcom from 1975 to right up about 1995. Had at least one episode where a character gets hit on the head with a coconut or like a monkey wrench or like a frying pan. And forgets who they are, or they speak with a British accent for the entirety of the episode until they're struck on the head again at the end of the episode and things return to normal. I am the person who hasn't been hit on the head with a coconut for the second time. That's what you're dealing with. That's what's happening right now. And
You're still Stefan Urkel.
Yeah.
Yes. We recorded Relevant Daily on Friday afternoon, and this is, maybe 2 hours after he was kind of coming back to life a little bit. And it's a 10-minute podcast, quickie, just in and out. Here's what's happening today. And I think it took 35 minutes to record,
No. Jesse.
Dude, I'm telling you, I can't speak straight when I'm in the throes of it, but I'm fine now.
Was it a migraine?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Jesse. Horrible. But hey, we're out of the woods. It is Monday. I am not sunburned, at least. Like, it could be worse. I could be sunburned. And I didn't
hang out with a bunch of dads last night, so it could be worse.
This guys, we got a lot to exercise in that group.
You got a lot of exercise in that group?
Exorcise.
Yeah.
EXOR.
Yeah. Some people say demons. They aren't demons. It's just, let's just not get into it and move on.
Well, speaking of demons, we have a great show in store for you today.
Right.
Coming up later, we are joined by horror writer and director Gary Dauberman. He's the guy behind It, The Nun.
Yeah, I'm out.
The new movie Annabelle Comes Home, which comes out this week. And he's an outspoken Christian. He's one of the leading horror writers and directors in Hollywood. And we're going to talk to him about that.
I'm scared of him. I'm so scared of him.
He's like number one right now. This is a crazy thing about the Conjuring franchise, which Gary Dauberman has written a bunch of the movies. He's one of the masterminds of this whole franchise. It is becoming one of the most profitable film franchises of all time. Like, it's on its way. It's number 2 in horror right now, behind only Godzilla, because Godzilla's had like 40 movies. Guess how, Eddie, take a blind guess. Guess how much money movies in the Conjuring universe. So it's like 6 different movies have made up to this point.
Made total, like a profit?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Will you just do a comparison between that and Anne of Green Gables series?
Yes.
Jesse, because that's the money I'd like to compare.
Anne of Green Gables made a cool $57,000 during its run on Lifetime.
And that's cash.
I don't
That's
know,
cash.
like 100 million? Man, I never know.
$1.7 billion.
What?
Wow.
This franchise, it's like, it's insane.
Why do people want that in their lives?
We're going to ask him.
Well, and it was one of the biggest movies of last year, and it too is coming out in the fall. And this one dude is like at the core of all of these, and he's a Christian, Annie. So
I believe you. My Enneagram 7 is just showing so hard. I would never go to a movie to be scared or stressed or in pain. I'm going for a Coke Icy and a good time.
Well, I like a few thrills here and there. Eddie, do you dabble?
Oh, never, ever.
None.
No.
None.
Nah. I watched, what was the Jordan Peele movie last year?
Us.
The one before that.
Get Out.
Get Out. I watched
yeah.
Get Out, and I knew I had to see it because it was a cultural moment.
Yeah.
And I did, and I loved it really and really despised it. And I have not brought myself to see Us, and it is beyond what I could ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Really?
I would. Oh, I could never. I do not watch anything scary.
No.
Yet I still respect our guest's ability and creative.
Same. I'm excited to hear him because I think that's a fascinating
Totally. But
thing.
holy smokes.
Yeah.
I just appreciate the naming of the movie It. It's kind of like a whole who's on first thing. Like, I really like It. Like what? It. Well, I like It too. Like what? At the beginning, I'll confess, I'm a sucker for these types of naming conventions. Back in the earliest days when I was in college, I had a dream to start a magazine called That magazine, because then be like, I really like that magazine. What magazine? I just thought that was really funny. And then close friends advised me that would be a horrible, horrible misstep. And so it became relevant. So,
yeah. Well, before the pod started, Cameron's like, remind me, Gary Dauberman. I was like, he's the guy behind It. He's like, behind what? It.
There was we had a whole bit.
It. Yeah.
I'm sun poisoned. He's migraine. We talked for 35 minutes trying to figure out who was on the show today. I had no idea.
I mean, 3 hours of sleeping in the pool. I'm just mostly glad you didn't drown, Cameron.
Well, wouldn't that have woken me up if I'd rolled off the raft? I mean, I'm not worried about that.
I can't know. I would hope so, but
It was
I'm just
very
grateful that you
relaxing.
slept on water for 3 hours and you lived to tell.
It was like a waterbed. It was wonderful. It was so relaxing. And just there was a nice breeze. It was wonderful. But now I feel like permanently dehydrated. You know, it's like that thing is like all the moisture was sucked out of my body. And overnight I got like I don't know, like I feel
I'm glad you brought up waterbeds because I've been meaning to talk about them on this podcast
best.
for a long time.
Have we never talked about waterbeds before?
I don't think so.
I mean,
Because
it's
my
all that's
gosh.
left.
my parents had one in the 80s.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was
You
a
had one?
My parents did. It was a semi-waveless where you had, it still had the waves, but it was a little
Steve
tighter.
Strang.
Yeah. It was a semi-waveless waterbed because, if you have a full waterbed and you just do like one little fidget, the whole thing's got ripples for the next hour, So they had a semi-waveless waterbed. It was.
So what makes you, I need you to keep talking.
Yes.
How is it semi-waveless? Does it
I think
have,
it's just a little tighter of a
small waves.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's got kind of a mattress more around it. It's it's
I would
got
be
some.
seasick every night of my life.
That's
whatever
the
happened
question.
to 'em?
That's the question of the hour. Why does no one have waterbeds anymore? Like I felt like there was a time when waterbeds were reasonably common and very, very cool. Like if you went over to somebody's house, they're like, "Hey, my parents got a waterbed." You're like, "I'm definitely going to check that thing out. I don't care if anyone's sleeping in there or not. I got to see I got to know what this sensation is like."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But now they're just not anywhere.
One of my favorite memories of my childhood is waking up in the morning to just mass panic from my father, who's just scurrying around the house because apparently the waterbed had sprung a leak. And I mean, we're talking like, if this thing like leaked into your house, it's going to destroy it. And so we're on the second floor and this waterbed has sprung a leak. And my dad is just like all flustered, like running around with his little, getting his towels
So your
and stuff.
parents had one as well, Eddie.
Oh yeah, they were deep into every 80s trope possible. And so then he's like hooking up a hose and draining it out the window into the yard, and he's just freaking out. And I'm like, what is going on? And you could just see little sprays like flying up into the air. Oh
Well,
yeah,
I don't understand, because it's not like he like took a nap with the keys in his pocket and like
Or did
popped
he?
it.
That's a funny
But
idea.
the way you're describing it is all of a sudden leaks are just springing up all over the mattress.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it was just the mattress's time to go. And it's like,
but their waterbed was the worst. It didn't have like a pillow top on it. It was just like a big, like plastic bubble of water. And so they would put a sheet on it. I mean, it was a real waterbed, but it was just like real, like a I don't know how to
Ziploc bag full of water that they're sleeping on.
exactly
like a giant
that.
Yeah.
Ziploc bag.
It's exactly that. And over time, it's just sprung a little sprout, and my dad was freaking out, and it was amazing.
That's awful. Yeah, I've never lived in a house with a waterbed in my whole life.
Oh yeah.
Well, we
I
need
would
to-
never get one because Brienne is, 5'1" and weighs half of me. I would jump into that thing and it would be like that thing you do at summer camp lake.
Yeah, the blob.
it's
The
just
blob, it would
blob.
be the blob experience
she's
for
just
me.
flying out of bed.
I'm looking. Waterbeds are readily available.
How much are we talking here?
We're talking $100 to $200.
Whoa,
That's it?
Well, for
That cannot be right. That cannot be right.
$100
Like on Craigslist? Like where are you finding a
for
$100
what
water?
size? Are you getting a twin? What is a $100 waterbed?
Walmart.com sells a Sleep Sync Fiber 45 queen size waveless waterbed mattress for $219 free delivery.
I think you need to get one to the office immediately, just for fun.
I think we need at some point to do another podcast contest and for some reason have the prize be a waterbed. Like I just want this podcast to be responsible for someone owning a waterbed.
Okay,
Like,
I
just feel like it'd be a great
Queen
thing.
size.
I am seeing, there's another one for $300, but I am seeing them up to, $1,500 with like,
Yeah.
the whole, headboard and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah. Well, the winner of our podcast contest will get the bare minimum, one that will need to be filled with a garden hose and just lie on the floor, like a big, just like it's just a trash bag filled with water. That's essentially what we want to give away. But
You got to really question a lot that's happening in your life if you get on Walmart.com and order online a $200 waterbed. Like you are just a study in paradoxes.
Listen, I don't want any of you to make fun of me when I ask this question because I've
Everyone
never
will.
lived with a waterbed.
Okay.
yeah,
Around the Horn won't make fun of me, Cameron.
deal.
I try my best.
I'm
When you
100%
get a
going to.
waterbed delivered to your house,
You, it's just a plastic
does
bag.
it already have water in
No,
it?
no, you hook
Great
a hose
question.
up to it. You hook a hose up to it.
Okay.
Those things
okay.
probably hold, 100 gallons? I mean, that's an
At
800-pound bed.
Right. I just didn't know. So that's why I was
880
asking.
pounds, 8.8
Yeah.
pounds per
There are
gallon.
no dumb questions in the relevant family. So I just wanted to know.
Now I'm looking at like the real ones that have like, they look like regular mattresses, like pillow top, stuff like that, but underneath the core is waterbed. And those are in the 1,200 range, 1,200 to 1,500, just so you know. So there's still people buying it.
I feel like if you order a $200 waterbed from Walmart.com,
Right.
you instantly end up on like a weird FBI watch list. Just like it's just a database that just says weirdos. Keep an eye out on these ones.
Just
And
Not
then-
for me.
like-
They'd be like, well, she owns a unicorn and a Pegasus that
So-
blow up. She probably just wants another float for the pool.
The delivery
Yeah.
man,
Jesse.
the delivery man unloads the water. He like knocks on the door and he's got the Walmart, hat on. He's like, "Hey, I got your water bed here." And he looks up and it's Chris Hansen from Dateline. And he's like, "I understand you ordered a water bed from Walmart.com."
The one from Walmart comes with mandatory wall decorations of samurai swords. That's what you have to put on the wall above the bed.
And samurai
Samurai swords cross like above the bed. That's
Oh my gosh.
And then a special rack for all your vape gear. Like that.
Yeah.
That's the start. That's the Creep Ball starter pack.
Yeah,
A
the
$200
water bed
Creep Ball starter pack.
a bunch of samurai swords, vape gear, and an old van. Like it's all comes together. That's
Oh, a water bed in a van. That's a super gross idea.
Also, just the inertia, taking a big, fast right turn. I mean, that thing's turning over. You can't stop that much liquid.
Your dad's real panicked about those
Oh,
wheels.
he is freaking out. He is going to get in his Mercury Cougar and he is going to drive straight down to that waterbed dealership and get a refund.
As he's frantically duct taping and cursing how could I have bought this? And just
Beth,
spraying
get in
everywhere.
here. Beth, bring towels.
How did he fix it? What, did he duct tape it?
Yeah, how do you fix that one little leak? You have to duct tape, right?
He does he did. I have a strangely clear memory of this, but he kind of like pulled up on it so that the leak was isolated. He dried it. He put duct tape on it, but then he took a hose and ran it from. You put the hose like in the waterbed and he like drained it out it was a 2-story house. He drained it out the roof of the house and just I guess fixed it or something. But it was
did he get rid of it after that? Did he drain it because he had to get rid of it?
No. They had that waterbed from way like deep enough into when we would all be making fun of it. Yeah. Like it wasn't a cool 80s thing anymore. It was like, what are you guys doing to the waterbed still?
Yeah.
This is odd.
Yeah.
But he's going, this is perfect because unlike a mattress, it doesn't sag. I don't have to flip it. It's perfect. He's like, I've had it for 20 years and it's just as good as day one.
Why change? Yeah, that's right. Why try anything new? That's the
And
motto.
then you take the sheet off and you look and it's just got a whole bunch of like vinyl patches all over it because every year.
It totally did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And fish
I think-
swimming inside.
I think if I had to rank things that just would be really funny to see, I think in the top 5 would be a waterbed bursting at someone's someone's house who has a really bad temper. Like that would be on like right on the high end of stuff I would want to witness. Like, oh, you can't believe it! And water's just spraying everywhere. And like he puts his finger in one hole and like water starts spraying it. Yeah.
Right.
I can.
Cows! Yeah.
Like
I wasn't going to get into it, but I can tell you it is very funny. It was great to watch. It was hilarious.
And then when he fills it back up, is it from the bathtub?
Well,
No, it's a hose.
I mean, he filled it up. Of all the things, if I had to wake up this morning and list 5,000 things, I would have never put this on the list of things I'd talk about today.
Right.
But it's a hose. So you run a hose from the outside source and you run it in through the window. And it has like a hose connector on the waterbed, and then you turn on the hose and up we go.
Okay, Eddie, I'm going to ask you to tell me which you would rather witness, okay? One is being at the angriest friend's house you have and watching their waterbed very slowly, just for some reason, start disintegrating in front of him, okay?
Oh my God.
Is this a finger in the dam situation where as soon as you plug one, a new one springs?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Another one springs a leak.
Right. Their futile efforts to keep 500 gallons from just exploding onto the floor of their house.
The mess is getting bigger and bigger, and your friend's getting more and more upset, and you're just sitting there laughing. So that's option one.
That's
option two. Option
Go.
2 is the nicest Italian restaurant you can think of. Waiters in tuxedos, white tuxedos, carrying out 4 piping hot plates of spaghetti and meatballs, and he trips and falls, and the spaghetti goes everywhere, all over the white tux.
That's almost a
Piping
perfect
hot.
would you rather, but I'm gonna definitely go option 1 because the introduction of anger into it makes it very, very funny.
I can't. You know what? Like Jesse, as much as we enjoy King of Queens, I'm shocked given his Kevin James's prowess at physical comedy that they didn't have a waterbed springing episode where he's trying to like finger in the damn it. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
That is such a great call. Because like, as with that show was like entering its prime was right when waterbeds were like exiting.
Yeah. They really
cultural-
missed a moment.
And he comes home and he got a used one. He saw it on the side of the road. It's a great idea. He's wanting to surprise Carrie with it. You know, we just wrote a whole episode. Bring King of
Man,
Queens
that is
back.
a loss that we never got to see that.
It is like the same physical comedy as what I've brought up 1,000 times and will continue to champion on this podcast. The scene in Ernest Scared Stupid where he has jury duty and he bites the black ink pen and tries to hide that the pen is linking, and he ends up like eating the ink, and it is covering every inch of him as he's sweating, wiping his face with ink.
Devolving every little
it's the
motion.
pinnacle of comedy. Like, that is the pinnacle of comedy. Just like
comedy.
Kevin James trying to salvage a quickly deflating waterbed. Like, comedy doesn't get better than that. This is what, just naturally in us as humans, we want to see.
Well, if Gary Dauberman's listening to this episode, we just gave him a great idea for
a terrifying film. Yeah.
Entering the comedy space. I don't know. All right. Well, let's see. Let's move the show along. Stay tuned. Up next, it Slices.
Okay, fine, maybe I'm just a little nostalgic. Cause the memories are flooding my mind, maybe I can't stop it. I know I said I wouldn't call, but I'm breaking my promise. Cause the memories are flooding my mind, maybe I can't stop it. Oh, I can't stop it.
You're listening to Arizona. The song is Nostalgic. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Foster the People with their brand new one, Imagination. Well, today's show is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a landing page, a beautiful gallery, a professional blog, or an online store, it's all included with your Squarespace website. Creating a site with Squarespace is a simple, intuitive process. You can add and arrange your content and features with a click of a mouse. You can even design a best-in-class online store with Squarespace's award-winning templates, customizable settings, and more, all without a single plugin. Including all the tools you need to track inventory, process orders, and send custom emails in one intuitive interface, Squarespace Commerce allows you to understand every aspect of your business. Go to squarespace.com/relevant for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch your site, use the offer code, hard to remember this one, relevant, to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
You are very sarcastic when people ask you on Twitter what the codes are.
It's always relevant. It's always relevant. If you go to any brand that has advertised with us, the promo code is relevant. Just FYI. So
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, Walmart. Walmart.com. Get a free vaping jewel with your order of your new $200 waterbed and a Blacklight Scarface poster. It's a great deal they got going.
They're going to throw in a free waterbed patch kit with every promo code relevant podcast. It's
use
quite
the
a
offer
deal.
code relevant to get your free waterbed patch kit at Walmart.com. All right, it's time for
Slices.
All right, what do you have, Jesse?
I don't know if I'm just in a goofy mood, but for some reason, if there are waterbed patch kits on the Relevant store, I just think that would be funny. Relevant podcast branded waterbed patch kits.
Little podcast
Just a
patches.
vinyl, just a couple of vinyl stickers.
Yeah, it's just vinyl stickers.
Just vinyl. That's irrelevant.
We have 2-inch vinyl stickers. We don't call them 2-inch vinyl stickers. We call them waterbed repair kits.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Just rebrand what you've already done. Work
Let's
smart,
see.
not hard. That's the right
Here's
way
the
to do it.
drop down. Do I want a coffee mug? Ooh, new t-shirts. Here it is. Waterbed patch kit. Here we go. Relevant podcast. Attach my waterbed.
You can even just put like what's on there now and just retitle it.
Just retitle it. That's exactly
Waterbed
right.
patch.
Just retitle the stickers. Waterbed patch.
That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to
It
do.
makes me very happy.
All right, what do you have, Jesse?
All right. Well, okay. I guess what I got
Jesse had to take a big drink of his LaCroix before he dove in.
I had to clear my
Yes.
throat here. Okay, so a twofer. I'm going to start with one that I found interesting, and then I have one that I think you guys are. It's right up your alley.
Then I have one I think you guys will find
Yeah,
interesting.
that's we're allowed to do this, Jesse. That's not usually how it goes when I turn them in to you.
Mine is just made up. I just made this one up.
It's just about local Virginia politics, pretty obscure laws that don't affect any of us.
Listen,
In this.
the health department shut down waterbeds in this state.
Yeah, and the second one is a youth group listicle, but the first one, let's talk about Virginia politics.
No, the first one is some obscure place in the world that you can go and visit for $50 a night. Remember?
Yeah, it's just a travel story.
Okay.
I'm not
gonna
roasting
start.
you. I'm here to learn.
I know. Thank you, Annie. You'll find this interesting.
Actually, Lucy said something to me. Lucy was like joking around with me yesterday, and then she looked at me out of the corner of her eye, and she's like, "Dad, I just roasted you." But, well, we're all grown up, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, Jesse.
Someone
let's
call
roast
the
you.
burn unit. Okay. All right. So a team of researchers recently wanted to develop a better understanding of how honest people were across cultures, and if certain factors would actually make them more honest. And so they devised this pretty complicated experiment where they created 17,000 wallets. Okay, so within these wallets were like business cards. There were also handwritten grocery lists in the local language of wherever they ended up planting the wallet. So it looked like, an authentic wallet. There were also like things like a key, basically stuff that you would find in a wallet. Some of them had cash in it. Some of the wallets did not. And what they did is they would walk into like a convenience store or a bank or kind of any one of these locations and say, hey, I'm a customer. I actually found this wallet sitting there on the, on the ground. Someone must have left it here. Here you go. And they would hand it into an employee. But they had a whole database of where they could track if that employee would later contact one of the names in one of the business cards in the wallet to determine if people, would actually return these wallets. What they found is that the wallets with cash in them, in every single country, they did this in 40 countries with 17,000 wallets. In every single country, if the wallet had cash in it, it was much more likely to be returned without the cash taken.
More likely with cash in it.
And that was, obviously the exact opposite of what they thought they were going to find.
Right.
But they said that what it has kind of led them to believe is that, people don't want to see themselves as like thieves. And so
you would absolutely feel like you're stealing if you took cash out of a wallet that wasn't yours.
Right.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't necessarily feel as compelled if it was an empty wallet or just had some ID or cards in it, that it was like, he probably knows he lost it and he probably got all these replaced. I wouldn't feel compelled to turn it in. But if it was full of money, of course I would turn it in.
Yeah, and most of it, a lot of times it wasn't very much money. On average, they would leave like $13 in it. But
wow.
$13 was enough to compel people to, contact the person who evidently lost the wallet. And they kept adding more money. The more money in the wallet, the more likely it was to be returned. And they found that generally people are pretty honest when it comes to it. They also released the data of the 40 countries so you could see which ones were the most honest and which one was the least. Any guess is what the most honest country is, the one that's most likely to return one of these wallets?
I would think like a highly religious country, maybe like in Italy or Latin America. I don't know.
Netherlands.
No, that's very close. That's number 3. Eddie?
Very close. Okay. I don't know what's close to the Netherlands. Let's say Germany, because they're my people.
Switzerland. It was actually
I knew
Switzerland, Norway, the Netherlands, Denmark, and Sweden were all at the top. So like
all the Nordic countries at the very top. That's fascinating.
the other thing, they didn't draw this conclusion, but like I
but
was
you
kind
did.
of. I will say this: those Nordic people are very honest and very tall. Yeah, no, but some of those cultures, from my understanding, are more closer to like a socialistic economy than like there's a lot of social programs in those countries
And very non-religious.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, the United States actually was right in the middle. Like, it wasn't close to the top. It was almost dead in the middle. The least likely was actually China, which that's a for the most part, is a pretty non-religious country.
So we can't really.
They were the least likely to return it. China.
Yeah.
I wonder what that expresses culturally about them. Like, because you think it's just like, oh, they're not nice people, but maybe there's some like deep cultural, like.
Well, it might be something about the economic disparity. I mean, like,
yeah.
Like the Nordic countries are very economically stable, and like he said, more socialism minded, where it's like the others are as important or more important than you. And
maybe it's not like as much viewed as stealing as it is like I own what I find. So if they're not taking it from someone; it just exists in nothing.
Does it say what happened to them? Does it see that they just weren't returned, or they can track them that they're in a house?
No, they didn't put tracking devices on them.
So it could just be that the Chinese just don't pick them up.
Yeah. No. They were, so like how it works, how the experiment worked is like, if I'm one of the scientists and you had like a bodega or something, I would walk in there and be like, hey, I found this sitting outside the door. At that point, they were tracking whether the employees actually contacted the people who had information.
Got it.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety of reasons, but it is interesting that for the most part, when it comes to increased value, people globally tend to be more honest. I mean, it's even the case in China. Even though they were the least likely to return the wallets, they still, if it had money in them, and actually China was much more likely to return it with money than if it didn't have money. Okay, so that's your little update about human psychology and honesty. That's in morals. It's very fascinating. Now, Cameron, you wanted one about a fun trip you can take, and I have just the slice.
Wait, so that first one was the one that we were all going to care about, and now we're getting the one that you care about.
No, this is the one you guys care about. This is a topic that I have always, my time at space camp did not compel me to become more interested in this topic. I actually think I'm less interested having gone to space camp now with all space related stuff, and that's what this is about.
Wow.
NASA has announced a new plan to start raising some funding that will hopefully allow them to update the International Space Station. Their plan is to start allowing tourism to the International Space Station in the coming year. So they will be able to take qualified astronaut tourists up to the space station, and you can stay for as long as 30 days. You can spend a month up there.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Eddie, I want to hear your guess on this. How much do you think it costs per night to stay at the International Space Station?
Eddie, you're playing the Price is Right today on the show.
Question: what's the bed situation like in space?
It is water beds that are very uncomfortable and very leak prone. And I will say this: the Soviet cosmonaut who's on duty right now has a violent temper. And last time one of those things burst, it was hilarious.
He's just grabbing little bubbles of water all over the space station, trying to flick them out into the
my gosh,
ether.
bubbles of water.
Oh no! Jesse and I mean,
was that your Russian angry voice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesse,
Do you want to do it again?
When we went to space camp, we actually saw what the space station sleeping arrangement is. Like, it's this kind of like stand up, like cubby that you have like it's a very small space.
Wouldn't you feel like you could just sleep? I don't understand it, but like you wouldn't need anything to sleep on. You could just kind of.
No, that's what it is. It's just a private space where you can go and read and rest and
you
stuff
just
like
float
that.
and sleep?
No.
Yeah, you just kind of like gently bounce around.
No, you strap
yourself
You strap
to like
yourself
a wall.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you
not like, like you're, insane or something. Not like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's you're in one spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so Jesse,
You're strapped to a big bag of water, basically, essentially up there. You're just floating around with a big water balloon. Yeah. No, this is a round trip. This is per night. Per night.
How
much it all shakes out to.
Well, how long of a trip? Because I'm guessing
30 days. Up to 30 days.
Well, then you can't go per night. Is it the same price?
Yeah, same price. So if you go up there for 5 days or you go up there for 30, your bill per night's going to be around the same.
100,000.
I'm guessing the whole trip is going to be like 30 million.
Oh no. I think per night it'll be. I think 100,000 is a great guess per night.
And can you use AAA discount on that? Because I think that will
you get
help.
some miles. You get some real miles in there. No, it's only because like transportation to the International Space Station has become so much more affordable thanks to private companies like SpaceX. Like it's dramatically less expensive. And that's the main cost is getting up and back. You can go and spend time if you're approved in the next year for just $35,000 a night on the International Space Station. Yeah. Because, like I said, the price of getting up and back is way less prohibitive than it used to be.
Wait,
Cameron,
does that include transportation, or is that just to stay there?
Yeah, that
gets you there.
Yeah, that's let's see. Yep.
Are you telling me I could get to space and back for $35,000?
Right.
Oh, okay. Nope, you're right. That doesn't include transportation.
Yeah.
You got to figure that out.
You got to sort that out on your own.
But once you're up there, Once you're up there,
it's
all the
gonna be
amenities,
$30K a night.
life support, communication,
I'm
powdered
not spending that
space
amount of money
food.
to not get like massages and room service and
Okay, it's funny you say that because the Business Insider did a story on this, and they interviewed some Russian dude who he paid $30 million to hang out on the International Space Station because like Russia allowed this before NASA did. So this like Russian, billionaire paid $30 million, and they asked him what he thought of the facilities, Annie, because like if you're paying $35,000 a night, you want to have a nice experience. Yeah.
Yes.
This is his quote. The food is not phenomenal and the personal hygiene facilities are substantially lacking. Yeah, no kidding. What do you think he's going to, I don't see the appeal of spending this kind of money to be trapped in this. The other thing about space stuff, Cameron, I feel like you need to help me speak into this. Why is everything so cramped? Like, it's literally called space. There's all the space in the world up there. Just like, what
are you getting into
like
bits?
they're building this on like on an easement where
Are you working this for your 5-minute open mic tomorrow?
No, I'm saying, have you ever seen anything with space? They're basically
you are.
spelunking. You're like watching Bruce Willis crawl through ventilation shafts. And they're like, oh no, that's the main hallway. And you're like, that guy can barely squeeze through there. That looks miserable. That's the main hallway of this ship. Like, space is so huge. Why are they compacting everything? It makes no sense.
And anyhow, that's my time, folks. You've been great.
Great audience. Okay, Jesse, I'm reading. So it is NASA is saying for the facilities, the life support systems, toilet, all that stuff, food, all the stuff you need, $35,000 a day. Yeah. But a seat on a SpaceX flight to the space station is $52 million.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Wait, Jesse, you are fake news. $52 million to get there, and then it's $30,000 a night.
No big deal.
Right.
No big deal. I
Yeah,
mean,
because
listen,
for like a
Annie,
second,
I was
I'm
assuming,
going to sell my car.
I was assuming,
You drove a $30,000. Well, I guess that is kind of normal, isn't it?
I was assuming you would.
$30,000 car.
I mean, that plus some old savings bonds for my grandpa and stuff. I mean, I could cobble it together. My car's probably worth $8.
I mean, I don't know if I could do the full 52 mil, but at least I go halvesies with somebody. Maybe we can sit on my lap on the way up there. I don't know if that's allowed.
That was a normal thing to say.
Jesse, I'm bothered that you didn't think to bring today that NASA announced they're going to take a woman to the moon.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the real space news.
That's much better news. When is this woman going to the moon?
2024.
There's 12 female candidates still in the running, and one of them will make it to the moon.
And one of them is Annie F. Downs. You guys didn't know. I'm here to make an announcement. Vote for me. I want to be the woman who goes to the moon. No, I don't.
Does anybody know why we're going back to the moon?
That's
I'm
my
not
question.
saying it's not a bad idea. I just am curious
I'm going to take that to our space expert, Cameron F. Strang. Cameron, why are we going back to the moon?
I mean, the guys like Elon Musk and others are they're really advocating for Mars and moon having permanent residences there and a presence there because of the inevitability of with climate change and all that kind of stuff that humanity will need to be on another. Will need to have a presence outside of just Earth. I mean, so that's really why long term they feel like it's vital for the proliferation of the human species.
Yeah,
I'm in.
But Trump's administration is making it a priority because he wanted to have a big, audacious thing, kind of like John F. Kennedy's goal of going to the moon. He wanted to have that, so that's why he's doing it. But his
big, audacious moonshot is going to the moon again.
Well, but with the goal of a permanent presence there, like establishing a moon base, which would be different.
I know we don't try not to avoid getting too political, but I do have a legitimate question about one of the president's tweets about the moon and space travel. I don't know if you guys saw this tweet. This is from last week. Yeah, I'm going to read this tweet in its entirety, and I need you guys to help me determine what this means. Okay. For all of the money we are spending, NASA should not be talking about going to the moon. We did that 50 years ago. They should be focused on much bigger things we are doing, including Mars, parentheses, of which the moon is a part, in parentheses. And the final sentence just says, defense and science, exclamation point.
I think what he was trying to say is that the investment we're making in going back to the moon is actually to develop systems and stuff that will end up taking us to Mars.
So the budget is a part.
That the moon program is actually a part of us eventually getting to Mars. I think that's what he's trying to say.
I love having a space friend.
I like reading this stuff. Like I'm
I'm
fascinated
not
by it.
mocking you, Cameron. That's my real voice. I love that you know this stuff.
But the tweet was made fun of, but I think he was trying to say the moon program is a part of the ultimate Mars goal. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
anyway.
I think it is awesome that a woman is going to the moon. I just don't know why we even go up there anymore. I mean, we all know
Anymore. You make it sound like
Listen.
the waterbed factory. I don't know why we go there anymore.
I'm just saying, we checked it out. Nothing going on up there. It's just rocks.
It is
It
what we
all
thought
rocks.
it was. Just a big old thing of rocks.
We drove that cart around. We did a loop or two, knocked a couple golf balls. Guess what? It's all rocks up there. Let's send
American
these
flag.
astronauts to somewhere cool. Yeah.
Let's move on.
But they went back like 8 or 9 times. I mean, there was quite a few moon missions in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I know. My question is like, why? What are we doing up there? Like, I've seen the videos. We hop around for a few, get a couple samples, ride that cool little buggy.
Yeah. Hit a golf ball.
What
Somebody
are
hit
we
a
doing
golf
up there?
ball. That
Yeah,
was cool.
smacking a golf ball. That is really cool.
I mean, there was
actually.
research and you know, it's like it's there. Why climb the highest mountain?
Yeah. Is this thing made of
I
cheese?
have no idea why
No.
people would do that. Mountain climbing is another dumb thing, and I'm glad you brought it up because I've been meaning to talk about this. Mountain climbing is stupid.
He definitely has a set this weekend.
Oh, this is a whole bit. This is a
Why
whole
are
thing.
people climbing mountains when we have perfectly great flat surfaces everywhere? You know? No elevation.
I keep workshopping that. You need something as tight as why is everything so cramped in space?
Hey guys,
It's called
what's
space.
the deal? What's the deal with elevation? Like, sea level's great.
Wait,
it's flat here.
you don't like climbing mountains? I like climbing mountains.
You don't ever think like you don't ever have a goal of a thing like just to challenge yourself and see if you can do the thing. You did a triathlon. Why do that?
I mean, at the time, I didn't really have a good reason. And I've set up a lot of nights in my waterbed thinking about why did I put myself through that? That was dumb. That's dumb. I'm not going to go out there climbing the mountains. I'll tell you that. You know,
I mean, it's called space, right? It's called space.
There you go.
I'm glad we have like one of the hottest directors in Hollywood on the pod today to be a part of all this.
What do you have, Annie?
You guys, this one is important for all of us because we are podcasters. So it's important to us because we're on this show. Eddie has a new activist. I have a show. Y'all have multiple shows. There's a study showing that this is from Billboard. Study shows that there's
Billboard or Billboard magazine.
a billboard I saw driving home
on
from
I-75.
church yesterday in Nashville.
It's a billboard advertising just podcast.
Yes, that's all. It just says podcast. And I said I should tell the
Podcast
guys that
like
there's a billboard that says
saves,
podcast.
Life begins 8 weeks. There's a heartbeat after 8 weeks, and then podcast billboard.
Yeah, exactly. So what the research says, and this was done by it was commissioned by iHeartMedia, is that podcasts now represent almost 10% of everything millennials are listening to. And what it says is that the average for millennials and Gen X, am I the one having a hard time today? Millennials and Gen X, they listen to 2.6 hours or more of podcasts per day. 2.5 hours of podcast per day.
Or half of one relevant podcast.
Or they just got through our
That's right.
our waterbed bit. That's
The other thing I thought was really interesting about this study is that not only is it going up listening to podcasts, but actually audio is starting to take off more than video. And millennials are intaking more audio content on a normal day than they are video content or viewing. Because they can do other things like driving, exercising. There are these other things you can do while, obviously, you guys know I listen to y'all's podcasts. I listen to podcasts in the car as well and when I'm working out. But the other interesting thing, and then y'all can all tell me your thoughts.
10%
is that with bar none, like way above, is that still 85% of American consumers each week are reached by radio. Radio is still the most powerful audio tool, but podcasts are really coming up, and especially with 12 to 24-year-olds. So all those teenage podcasts that are out there. But I thought that was really interesting.
How did they fit all of this data on a billboard, and how slowly were you driving?
Was it one of those
We're having a
LED
real traffic
billboards
thing
that
in
like
Nashville
scrolled?
right now. But it also, the other interesting thing is it talks about how like a bunch of record labels like Sony, Universal, and Warner are all entering the podcast space by creating unique and specific podcasts from within their companies. And I just think that's really fascinating. And Spotify bought like Gimlet, Anchor, and they're getting into it real hard too.
Yeah.
Jesse, do you think billboards in space are the same size, or are they big as they want? Because it's space.
Yes, unlimited.
A lot of
amount of
space up there. Am I right? Hey, if I ever stay at a friend's house, like I'm a house guest and they have a waterbed, night one, they're like, hey, just make yourself at home. You're at work, just relax.
Annie,
Listen,
your slice just got trounced.
I love it.
And in fact, when I sent it to Jesse this morning, what the world doesn't know is our slice czar shoots down the first 9.
And what did I say? And what did I say this morning? I was like, this is fascinating.
First try. And then waterbeds.
Oh, it just demolished it.
He
I
said
think it's great.
First try.
Annie, it's fascinating. Like those stats are mind blowing to me. I can't believe it's 10%, but I do have this funny joke about waterbeds I wanted to tell.
People are going to tweet about this. People are going to tweet about this.
Annie, I'm not trying to step on it. I'm saying it was so good. I have nothing else to add. That was fascinating. Now, real quick.
Go ahead.
I think the radio dominance versus podcast thing is accessibility. I think because you can get in the car, there's a radio already built in.
Yes.
Boom.
That's
I
it.
think
65% of cars are tuned into radio.
Right. I think as, the new generation of cars with the more computery interfaces get obviously more ubiquitous and more, affordable for younger buyers and stuff like that. And podcasts are baked into the dashboard experience. I think you'll see a pivot. Like that, the market share toward podcasts will continue to accelerate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think it's a convenience factor.
Right. I just heard Ira Glass do a lecture, and he was talking about, and it was about storytelling and the popularity of podcasts. And he said, but the engine for NPR is still, if we're on air, if I had to choose between, This American Life, what is it called?
This American Life.
Yeah, This American Life, podcast or radio. It's not, you can't even compare.
Yeah,
the radio audience is still so dominant. I was very surprised.
I think it's just ease of access. I mean, it's still like,
totally.
How do I find that show? Well, you find a station that you like. It's a genre of music, or I'm in the mood for talk or whatever like that. And it's just like, you're interested in that format. The question is going to be how our podcast can be organized for easy access for the consumers. Because I think we're like ingrained in the channel mindset and the station mindset. So how will that apply to podcasts down the road? Whoever figures that out is going to be the organization steering the ship here, So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's also fun because we're in it here when it's starting to grow. I mean, y'all have been in it way longer than most people, but
2005.
All of us have shows that are already going that have a good set of listeners that love what we do and help us be better at it. And it's just fun to be on the front side of something that's growing, and we get to innovate as creators as well, which I'm having the best time with.
It was like when I was at the heyday of the waterbed thing. I was on that wave, literally. I rode that wave until it popped everywhere and made a huge
It's an obsession, and he can't do anything but talk about this.
I know. It's like a sickness. It's like he didn't take some medicine this morning.
Okay, here's what I was gonna say. If you're ever a house guest at someone's house who has a waterbed, and they're like, hey, make yourself at home, whatever, and they go to work, like wait like an hour and then shoot them a text 911. And then you first text is 911. I need to know where your waterbed patch kit is. Don't freak out. Just tell me where it is, and I'll make sure this all gets cleaned up. That's what you do. That'd be really funny, right, Annie?
Yep.
Right?
Nailed it.
Anyhow, podcasts.
No, Annie, I think it's right. Like, who will become like the Netflix of podcasting?
That's
like, who will make a platform that because right now podcasting.
But there is no Netflix of radio.
Yeah, but because I think people are so used to the interface, right? Like people are so used to being able to go up and down a dial and know how content is delivered because, radio predates television, like we're so used to just how it works that I think whoever kind of cracks the nut of like, there's all this great content out there. It's clunky and difficult to organize, but how can you create programming that merges, the convenience and curation of something like, that we've seen happen in like some of these streaming on-demand platforms with podcasts, like what'll help people cut through the noise and develop a more clear entry point for people,
All right. That'll do it for
Slices.
Stay tuned. Up next, Gary Dauberman joins us.
Ramen noodles on a regular. Add some seasoning and some hot sauce for a better touch. Peanut butter jelly and syrup sandwich, etc. And we just flying in the nebula. And it might not be such a bad idea if I never went home.
You're listening to YBN Corday featuring Chance the Rapper. The song is Bad Idea. Gary Dauberman is a writer and filmmaker whose latest movie, Annabelle Comes Home, hits theaters this week. As one of the masterminds behind the Conjuring universe, Gary has helped create the second biggest horror franchise of all time. He's also the writer of It and It Chapter 2, which releases this fall. Our very own Tyler Huckabee recently spoke with Gary about Annabelle Comes Home and how his faith informs his work in the horror genre. Here is part of Tyler's conversation with Gary Dauberman.
Yeah, so I was interested to talk to Gary Dauberman because I am kind of, I think as we've talked about on this pod before, I'm intrigued by the way the horror genre is kind of elevating, I guess, and has been over the last few years. And what's interesting is how The Conjuring kind of kickstarted a lot of that and has continued to exist throughout it with its spinoffs and franchises. So one thing I want to talk to Gary about was what he thinks the appeal of this particular franchise is as part of the horror revival. And I really liked how that his answer, at least at first, really had to do with the centrality of family.
I think it's a huge part of the appeal. And it really resonates with me personally, too, as a parent and as a husband. I just, there's so much out there in the world of relationships disintegrating or relationships on the precipice, not surviving. And how are we going to, pull us back from the brink? And, in the Warrens, they have a strong foundation as husband and wife and as mom and dad. And I like that that's never the thing that's really in jeopardy at all. Maybe their lives are in jeopardy or whatever, but the relationships themselves at the core of it is not the thing that's in jeopardy. And to me, I find that so refreshing when compared to a lot of the other things that are out there. A relationship like theirs does not have to be filled with a lot of internal drama in order to survive. It has their drama happens externally out there in the world with the investigations they are, but internally their drama is there really isn't any. They are a loving and supportive couple and a loving and supportive mom and dad, which I really admire.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I do feel like that kind of grounds some of these movies, because at the end of the day, these are about these relationships. I know it's even based on like a real family, and obviously these are like spooky ghost stories, but the relational tension really does kind of ground them.
And I think what he said that is interesting is how the tension and drama of these movies, like, obviously comes from the supernatural, the paranormal, but it doesn't come from their own relational tension. Like you never doubt their marriage or their family. Like these are people who really love and care for each other. And I asked him if he thought that was true to life, and he says it was, as far as he could tell. And he knew the couple has passed away now, but he spoke with their daughter, and he said they were aware that they had a very different life, because of their work, but that they were still just a normal family. They're a family unit. And I asked him a little bit more about what's how he incorporated the realness of this family into the movie, and he brought up their faith and how key their faith was for them.
Yeah, and I think it's something explored in all the movies, which again, why I think it connects to sort of the faith-based audience or whatever, because it is, at the end of the day, faith and the belief in something and the good beyond ourselves and the good within ourselves is the thing that ultimately vanquishes the evil. And the thing I always like to think about is just, if there are demonic and there are demonic entities out there and evil, so must there be good. And and I think at the end of these movies, these Conjuring movies, I think these movies reinforce that, not just the evil, but they also reinforce the good and how the good can come from within us and in the people we surround ourselves with.
Yeah, that it's funny because like we're kind of in this moment where there are a lot of faith-based movies that are getting like a wider acceptance critically. You got unanimous media. Steph Curry's company Commercially, they're doing pretty well. But what's interesting about these Conjuring, like the Conjuring universe, is faith really is sort of like an organic part of the story. I mean, I don't think they're setting out to be like, any kind of like doctrinal or theological statements or anything. Mm-hmm. But, it's not like faith is this kind of weird tacked on thing. It's just like, no, this is a natural part of the story. And that's a kind of an interesting approach, considering like a lot of movies that faith is an element of the story. It's like the whole point of the movie is just to communicate that, where these, I feel like it's more natural.
And one thing that I was curious about, because I think in conversations I've had with other people who were brought up Christian, like I was, like you were, Jesse, is that these movies that are actually about demonic forces can sometimes be a little bit scarier than like the It movie, to take another Dauberman movie as an example, which is about like a psychotic killer clown or something like that, because you're raised to be very afraid of these forces and to avoid them. So it's one thing to see a movie about like a home invasion, which is very unrealistic, but it's another one to watch a movie like this, which was actually for a lot of us and for many of us still is very much part of the world that we inhabit. And I asked him if he felt like that had helped its reception with the faith crowd at all. And he was very aware of that. And here's what he had to say about it.
Yeah, what helps ground it as well. And these are, and the Warrens, he really did go out there and investigate these things, and they really did, and these were some biblical evils, so I think I think that's what helps amplify the fear. I don't think a little bit of fear is a bad thing either, to scare ourselves. And, there's plenty of, I just think they help us figure out what the good is.
Yeah, because I feel like, I know like some of the early Conjuring stuff and even stuff in Annabelle are quote unquote like based on true events or things like that. But ultimately, like a lot of good horror movies, the story and the fears that they bring forth are, metaphors for, whether it's like a zombie movie, it's like trying to understand, well, who's the real monster here? You know what I mean? Like the conscious ones or like the undead, like who's more monstrous at the end of the day, where like approaching these movies more from that kind of metaphorical approach, does show, hey, can a force of good, when united by something like a family, overcome seemingly insurmountable evil? It is an interesting kind of exercise in metaphor.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a very common horror trope, is that the bad people end up getting punished, right? Like the jock, the bully, these are a lot of times the people who are going to be the first to go, whereas the final girl, as it's known, is often the one who shows the most courage or the most virtue throughout. And it's kind of a tired trope, but it comes from a very real understanding, and a lot of times the difference between good and evil, and that's what I really wanted to. That's what I was interested to hear him talk about. Is what is the ultimate? What does he want people to think about when they leave the movie? Where does he want people to leave with? And I thought his answer it wasn't quite what I expected. Here's what it was.
One of the things I like about horror is that collective experience, that communal experience of everybody getting in the same room and experiencing the same fears, the same terrors, the same laughs, the same humor. So that's kind of what I would love for people to experience with this movie, is that sense of remembering that they had this collective experience. Because I think we live in a world today where it's so I don't know if singular is the word, but we're watching something on our phone that no one else can see, or watching things by ourselves. And I love the idea that I wanted to give somebody, a sense of adventure with this movie, like a ride that is where the audience and their gasps and their laughs become part of that, almost part of the story in a way. And that's something I really hope to achieve with this.
That is one thing about going to see like a horror movie in the theater. Like just honestly, I don't see like a ton of horror movies, but seeing them with a bunch of people who everyone jumps at the same time and everyone cheers at the same time. And you see, random strangers will like grab each other's arms in the theater because it like brings those kind of real raw human emotion. But it is, when you see it with people, it is like a collective experience. That's actually can be kind of fun.
Oh yeah. And I think like the last scary movie that I saw in a theater was Us. And, my good friends like don't see me scared very often, right? Like you don't see me scared all that often. I don't think. I hope not. But when you're
only on print week,
but when you're in a scary movie, the strangers see what you look like when you're, but you get to be afraid in a very safe context. And I think that does bring people together in kind of a fun way. You'll probably never see these people again, but you just went through something and that's kind of fun. Yeah. So I'm excited to go through that experience with this movie and excited to see what else. Dauberman's got a lot coming. He just wrote It Chapter 2. He just finished work on Swamp Thing as well. And now this movie. So he's doing well.
That was Gary Dauberman. His new film, Annabelle Comes Home, releases this week. Stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback.
Amen in Jesus' name, yes, I declare it. Any little seed I receive, I have to share it. Brothers wanna break me down, I can't bear it. But heavy is the head with the crown, I still wear it. You can't hold me down, I still cold. Rain falling down at the bricks, I'm still soaked. Try to put a hole in our ship, we'll build boats. 2 birds with 1 stone, I pull both.
Today's episode is brought to you by Not Forsaken, Finding Freedom as Sons and Daughters of a Perfect Father by best-selling author and pastor Louis Giglio. In Not Forsaken, Louis points us to a God who is not absent or ambivalent, but is available and affectionate, ready to shower us with his approval and love. When we take hold of this truth, we are not defined by our pasts, but by the love of a perfect Father. Christine Kane said, Not Forsaken is both timely and timeless. It will help heal the wounds and fill the deepest longings of a generation. Pick up a copy of Not Forsaken at your local bookstore or at notforsakenbook.com.
I have my reasons, life has its lessons. Try to be grateful and count all my blessings, but heavy is the head that wears the crown.
You're listening to Stormzy. The song is Crown. Okay, it's time for your feedback. Last week, we asked you to tell us your best summer camp stories, basically. That's the gist of it. Whether it be youth group camp or, a longer-term summer camp that you spent the summer away. You guys hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast, and you posted on the podcast episode page at relevantmagazine.com. There are a lot of stories. Here are a few
y'all went to camp.
Of our favorites.
A lot of weirdness.
There is a lot of weirdness. I was hesitating about reading this one, but I'm going to.
That's never good.
Just hate how she worded it. I just hate how it's worded. I get she's like confined to a tweet, but this is Elise. There was a time I was working in a camp kitchen and sliced off a fingertip while cutting up the carrots. Okay, here's what I don't appreciate about her tweet. We never did find that tip. Like, what are you say it like that? Never did find that old tip. It's like, well, we know what happened. It looks just like a carrot. It looks just like a baby carrot. Thanks, Elise. We get it.
Also, how fast were you chopping, and how could you not find a tip in a pile of carrots? A fingertip. That's so gross.
David, just a quickie from David, saw a preacher cut a watermelon that was on someone's stomach. Not a lot of context to any part of this story other than that happened and David saw it, and that is traumatizing.
Yeah.
HC said during altar calls at camp worship services, he would discreetly poke himself in the eyes to make himself cry and thereby fit in with the kids up front who were genuinely impacted by the message.
Oh, bless his heart.
Oh, man.
What a heartless weirdo.
I hate that.
Trying.
I'm speaking at a summer camp next week, and I'm like, don't do that, anyone. Don't just be there.
Yeah.
Abby has 2. It's a twofer, she says. But the first one I understand, and the second one leaves me vexed. So the first one is my first year at camp. The girl sitting next to me got hit by a rock launched from a water balloon launcher, and it broke her jaw, which is like hilarious and then also deeply
like
awful.
who's firing rocks from a water balloon? That's like a deadly weapon. It's a giant slingshot at that point. It's like David killed the toughest guy ever with a much smaller version of that. Why would you go around shooting that at a camp?
Right.
But Abby's the second one, and I'm going to need help with this because there's something in quotes here that maybe you all all will understand, but I don't. She said, at Pastor's family camp, we spent nights eating candy at the, quote, candy bar. We ended up hungover in the morning. So what is a candy bar? I mean, were they just eating candy?
I guess they just ate that much candy.
Well, I think it was the clever name of, they called it the candy bars, where campers would buy their candy. But I don't get the ending up hungover in the morning part.
So either it's like a candy hangover, or there was alcohol at the bar. Either way,
I think
Abby,
she's inferring.
again,
I think she's inferring she ate too much candy.
Yeah.
But if I walked into a camp and they had like what looked like a bar, and it would
implied it, we inferred it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, it's got to be
corrected me on that
your
last week too.
inference to the implication.
Hold on, it's got to be your bowl.
Hold on. Oh, it's a candy bar. I got it. Oh, that's pretty clever. No, if I walked into a camp and they had like a bar, they had like, I get it now. No, if I walked into a camp and if I walked into anywhere, there was a big bar set up with like bar stools, and then they were just like jars of candy out, and it said the candy bar. I'd be like, this is lame. I'm gonna have to leave. This is too lame for me to be here. The candy bar. I don't.
Elise, who never found that tip, she also said,
Never did find it.
The camp director's wife also once reprimanded me for flirting with her son, and when I apologized, she said, "Go and sin no more."
Yikes.
Wow.
Yikes, pastor's wife.
Forgive them, fathers. They know not what they do.
Gosh.
She just didn't want some fingerless girl, sniffing around her son. So.
Yeah,
that's right.
My son will not date a girl that's missing a fingertip. Yeah.
Jared said, 1 year at church camp, I got a first place medal in ping pong, tetherball, softball throw, and pool belly flop. Surely only Michael Phelps can relate to that, to the athletic superiority I felt that year. That is really something, Jared. Bravo.
Ryan says, I was a homeschooler in hand-me-downs on a youth trip to a horse farm.
One's sad.
I just want to stop there. I don't even want to tell the story. I just want to appreciate this sentence. I was a homeschooler in hand-me-downs on a youth trip to a horse farm. That's just a perfect sentence. It is really, really every part of it. He said his buddy gave him Jordans, and of course he wore them to the horse farm to impress a girl. A horse ate an apple and then spit the saliva-covered mush onto my right shoe. Oh, that's the danger.
I like this one from
farm.
Katie. She says, one of my only church summer camp memories is getting caught gambling. We were all first grade girls playing Go Fish with our hair ties, gel pens, and keychains in the middle. It got shut down pretty quickly. That's adorable.
More like Mayor Jordans.
There's not a lot of space up there, huh? For something called space.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Cameron.
Mayor.
Well, there's a lot more of that came from. Go check them out. You guys have had very traumatic summer experiences. We saved the more traumatic ones. You can read them for yourself. Yeah. Okay, it's time for this week's
editorial question of the week. Hey.
Well, earlier in the show, Eddie told us the gripping tale of that one Saturday morning where Dad's waterbed sprung a leak. And it got us thinking, what's the funniest thing you've ever seen happen that wasn't really funny at the time? As it's happening, not that funny. In hindsight, pretty funny.
Yeah. So one time when I was in college, I think I told the story years ago, I worked on, I had a campus job, and I basically to move heavy things. And we got called to a building one time, and there was like a flatbed or like a box truck had just pulled up, and it had like a very large copy machine in the back of the box truck.
Great.
And
already love it. I'm already snickering.
I'm
and
super
the guy driving the truck is this guy in a suit. Okay. This
Jesse, kind of telling the cop your story.
This smaller guy in a suit, and he sees us all standing there, but he's not asking for help. And there's no way to move this copy machine. I'm not going to give my life for a copy machine. There's no good way. So this man he's no way capable of, this copy machine should not be moved alone. But he used like a little jack thing in the back of the truck, and he moved the copy machine. It was like on a pallet to like a lift gate. So this gate is supposed to lower lower the copy machine safely to the ground where he can then pull it off with a pallet jack and move it into the building. So he moves it onto the lift gate, and we're all just standing there like, I've got to see this. Like, I have to see this copy machine be lowered safely to the ground. So he hits the button to lower the lift gate, but instead of holding it like one smooth motion, just like to the ground, he like presses it and kind of freaks out and lets go of the button. So it's just like it's just enough to tilt the weight of the copy machine. So you see this copy machine, it's got to weigh 500 pounds, starting to tip off the back of the truck. Again, there are 12 able-bodied young college men right there, but none of us are gonna jump behind.
You're frozen in the hilarity of it all.
This guy, he tried 15 different kung fu grips to try to push the copy machine back into the back of the truck, and his eyes made eye contact with every single one of us as this copy machine is just teetering on the back of the truck. He ends up grabbing it, trying to use his whole body weight to fling it back into the truck, dives out and lands and does the sweetest barrel roll, like action movie barrel roll you've ever seen, only to like roll back and see a copy machine slowly tilt and slam on the ground from out of the truck. There is no greater appliance there's no greater sense of satisfaction of any appliance than seeing a copy machine fall out of a truck. Buttons are flying everywhere. There's weird panes of glass you hear breaking. It's the perfect appliance to see fall out of the back of the truck. Whenever I have a bad day, I think about that afternoon I got to see that copy machine fall off the back of the truck. And it just makes me happy, you know? So
everyone tell us shorter stories than that, but like that.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Well, you need an example. There you go. So,
all right.
That is unbelievable, Jesse. I don't know how I haven't heard that story before.
There's a treasure trove of old Uncle. What is it? Story time with Uncle Jesse from the Kara Davis, Adam Smith, Jesse Kara era of the podcast.
Yeah,
like every week, I would just like tee him up so he would tell us another story.
Jesse, we still got to figure out who you fell on that time.
I know, because the interviews we did for our True Crime Investigative podcast were off to such a hot start. I do feel like we need to pick that up at some point.
I know.
Yeah. All right, hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast, or you can tell us your longer stories on the podcast episode page at relevantmagazine.com. Many thanks to Gary Dauberman for joining us. His new film, Annabelle Comes Home, is out tomorrow. And also thanks to Squarespace for making the episode possible. Remember, you can go to squarespace.com/relevant for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch your site, use the offer code. I know it's a tough one. Relevant to save 10% off your first purchase of a website.
It'll never work.
Or domain.
And listen, head over to Relevant Store. There's new waterbed patch kits just came in.
Jesse,
they look fantastic.
I mean, while we were doing the show, I literally was adding them to the store. So yes,
it's done.
There are 2-inch vinyl waterbed repair patches, patch kits available at relevantstore.com, or actually store.relevantmagazine.com. Okay, on that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Chandler Strang. I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Eddie Koffoltz.
And I'm Annie F. Downs.
We will see you on Friday. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
It's raining like it was before. Something that you never need.
Oh no!
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.